Hey, Battle Bill here with another video, and today we're going to get in some more Ultra League Go Bad League battles. Alright, I got some good news for you guys, and I got some bad news for you guys. Let's start with the good news. I like to get things started positive. I have another great set that I'm going to shoutcast for my friend Bebo. He's running a nice little Articuno Lead team with some slightly meta mons in the back. The whole combination of the team I would consider a bit off meta though, so I'm really excited for it. We'll talk about that's all, folks. Video's over. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. The bad news is though, Go Battle League is still down. I'm going through some withdrawals. You know, who doesn't want to feel that anger of chucking their phone on a day-to-day basis? I know I miss it. I definitely miss the competitive aspect of Go Battle League. But, you know, it's prompted me to want to practice a little bit more Sorceress Sylph Cup. You guys don't know about it. I know I haven't done a video on it. Unfortunately, as I've kind of gone over with you guys, the Sylph content doesn't do the same numbers. I'm not going to yada 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 on, but Go Battle League is where it's at, and if I want to grow and sustain some consistent growth, I got to stick with Go Battle League for now, but I do want to have Sylph incorporated, so I'm not completely abandoning it. It's just not in the, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just not in the picture as of right now, but I am still doing Sylph battles, so that is positive. Alright, let's get into these battles. So, my friend here is running Articuno Lead. He's got an Articuno on Armor Mewtwo in this matchup, and he has Snorlax and Gyarados in the back. I do like those two Pokemon in the back as like both essentially can serve as potential safe swaps. They both can deal damage to the Core 4 meta, whereas they don't wall any of those Pokemon, but they also don't get walled by any of the Core 4. When I say Core 4, I mean Swampert, Cresselia, Giratina Altered, Registeel, and then Articuno's a great lead because of the fact that it has access to the Icy Wind, so it can debuff essentially whatever it's running up against. He just shielded that Side Strike, and what you'll also notice is that he has a second move as Hurricane and not Ancient Power. And this is the move, now that Ancient Power has been debuffed, that you essentially want on your Articuno so it can deal heavy damage, maybe in a situation where Articuno has been swapped out and brought back in, there's no shields. Hurricane can definitely hit hard. There's only one of two ways though you could have Hurricane on your Articuno. You could have either participated in the raid day that happened a couple of years ago when the three birds were like, their shinies were released for that summer that it happens, or you could use an Elite Charge TM on it, and you definitely want to run Hurricane with Icy Wind. Icy Wind you 100% need on your Articuno, and then the quick move would be Ice Shard like Bebo is running. So he's got a ton of energy on his Articuno. He swapped out because he saw the Snorlax coming in. His opponent's keeping in their own Registeel against the Snorlax, but because the Snorlax has to worry about a potential Focus Blast coming from the Registeel, which is coming through, and unfortunately he did not shield it. So that Focus Blast has gotten his Snorlax into the yellow, but I guess luckily-ish, he's running Super Power on his Snorlax, which would deal super effective damage against Registeels, and it would be cheaper to get to than something like Earthquake. Now, the issue with Super Power is that it will debuff his Snorlax's attack and defense from what I'm pretty sure is one stage. If it's more than that, please correct me. And then, excuse me, the other negative with him running this moveset of Body Slam and Super Power is if he runs into a Giratina Altered in the future, he can't really, he's going to be dealing double resisted damage, and the only thing that's really going to hurt is the Lick Quick move. None of his charge was really going to hit the Giratina too hard. Either way, he was able to get both shields off that Registeel. His Snorlax, though, is about to go down because it's super debuffed. This is a Flash Cannon for sure because that's all the Registeel needs to take out the Snorlax here. And unfortunately a switch timer didn't run out, so he could essentially try and take his Snorlax out early. But either way, he brings in a Gyarados, and this will counter the Registeel enough to essentially take it out. He needs to watch out for either quick move. They're both resisted, and Flash Cannon does get stabbed, but Focus Blast does a lot of damage to a Gyarados. So either one of them, the Gyarados definitely needs to watch out for, because Gyarados is a pretty classy Pokemon. His opponent swaps in the Alolan Muck. He brings his Articuno back in and goes for the Icy Wind. I wonder how much a Hurricane would have done in that situation. But it is positive that he does this because his Articuno is bound to go down. I might have gone for the Hurricane there. His Articuno is about to go down, so at least the Alolan Muck that's now locked in is going to be super debuffed when his Gyarados comes back in to essentially commit to the Dragon Breath down. So either way, those are some good plays. He was able to get to another Icy Wind, so you know what? Forget what I said about going for that Hurricane. That Articuno debuffed the heck out of that Alolan Muck that it was able to actually beat it Wow, that was crazy. Did you see how little health that Articuno had? That was actually pretty crazy. And now he can just go for the Hydro Pump. Crunch would have gotten it super low, and he would have won out this matchup anyway. But this Hydro Pump will completely seal the deal. It will take out the Registeel, and it will win him the match. So he had a fairly positive lead there with the Articuno on Armor Mewtwo, because most Armor Mewtwo's are running Side Strike and Dynamic Punch, both of which are neutral damage, and the Articuno is getting to the Icy Wind to debuff the Mewtwo first. If the Armor Mewtwo was running Rock Slide, then he could have been in for a bit of a rude awakening there, but because of how popular and necessary Side Strike and Dynamic Punch are on Armor Mewtwo's, most of them aren't really running Rock Slide anymore. Either way, let's get into the second match. He's got an Articuno on a Giratina Altered Lead, which is really positive for him. He does have Gyarados in the back that can handle it pretty well. Again, the Snorlax won't handle it as well because of the fact that it's running Body Slam and Superpower as a charge moves. And his opponent swaps in a Hariyama. Spice pick, interesting. I like it. And he kept in his Articuno there. I don't really blame him. The Heavy Slam would be super effective though, so he has to watch out for it. And he's going for the Hail Mary. He's not even trying the buff. He's hoping, bluff. He's hoping that his opponent expects the Icy Winds, and the Hurricane gets through and one-shots the Hariyama. Wow, that was wild. That was wild. So I don't know what to expect to come back in. And the opponent's other Pokemon is a Scizor, which is probably the Pokemon they should have swapped in to begin with. I guess since it's their Articuno hard counter, they were trying to play it in a smart way, hoping that if they swapped, he would swap, but he didn't fall for that. He took out that Hariyama in some exciting Spice fashion, and now he's got a Gyarados on the Scizor, and the Scizor is kind of locked in. The switch timer should be just about up, but his opponent's not going to want to bring in a Giratina Altered against his Gyarados that's running Dragon Breath. So these Night Slashes are slowly adding up a bit. His opponent does have 2 shields, but he can essentially get to at least 1 crunch here. If he wants to use a shield, he'd be able to get the 2 crunches, which would most likely get both of the Scizor's remaining shields. He got the first one there. Let's see what he ends up deciding to do. Let's see what his opponent ends up doing, if he's going to throw another charge move. Throw another charge move here. This is definitely a Night Slash. If he shields it though, which he is doing, he can definitely get to another crunch. The Scizor is not at another Night Slash quite yet. He is overfarming a little bit, which is a bit risky because I do think that Scizor overfarmed a bit too. But either way, it works out. He's going for the crunch here. This will either take out the Scizor or get the last shield. Most likely, get the last shield because now the Scizor can farm down his Gyarados. But the Scizor is still pretty low in health. And Snorlax will be able to tank all of Scizor's moves pretty well because it's either got Night Slash, X-Scizor, or Iron Head. All of them will deal neutral damage, and none of them are like the hardest hitting moves in the world. This is a Night Slash. You do have to be a bit concerned about a potential buff, but since his opponent didn't get one, this next Night Slash is going to be the Scizor's last Night Slash because he should be able to get to a Body Slam to take out the remaining health, unless he wants to commit to the Lick Down, which is possible. And now his opponent brings a Giratina Altered in, and honestly, if I were him, I would have swapped a little bit quicker than that just because of the fact that the Snorlax doesn't have the charge moves to deal with the Giratina Altered. But either way, he was able to get to the Icy Wind, so it works out nicely. It's not going to end up biting him in the butt or anything. This next charge move will not take out the Articuno, even if it wasn't debuffed. So maybe that's why he took a little while to swap too, just to make sure his Snorlax had some energy. Because even if the Articuno got hit by a full power Dragon Claw, it wasn't taking out the Articuno. He was getting to at least 1 Icy Wind, and now he's getting to the second one. So this is 100% GG. Solid plays on his part. The Scizor is still alive in the back with very minimal health, but even if the Scizor farms down his Articuno, it's not going to get enough energy to take out the Snorlax. Plus, he's got a full superpower and extra energy. Even if the Scizor's Night Slash went through, or even an Iron Head went through, Snorlax would have survived it. He's going to take it out, and now he's 2-0 after that set, after making some really good plays. It's definitely really surprising that not only did he keep the Articuno in against the Hariyama, even though it made the most sense, but he landed the Hurricane his opponent didn't shield. That was crazy. So we're getting into this next match against Snake Eater 505. And we already know what he's running with as a lead. Let's see what he gets matched up against. And he's getting matched up against a nice shiny Scizor. This is not a positive matchup for his Articuno. Oh, it's not as bad. I spoke too soon. That Scizor is running Fury Cutter. I'm like, what's the name of the quick move? Fury Cutter as a quick move instead of Bullet Punch. If that Scizor was running Bullet Punch, then this would be a much worse matchup for his Articuno. And then the Scizor gets the attack buff, which raises Night Slash by 2 stages, And he's going for an Icy Wind here, which will only lower the attack back down 1 stage. So technically speaking, the Scizor is still dealing boosted damage, but the Scizor doesn't seem to be building all the way up for an Iron Head to even try and get the shields from the Articuno. And he gets another attack boost! Oh my god, if his opponent was running Bullet Punch, this poor Articuno would have been dead by now. But he's kind of I don't really call it the luck of the draw, because this Night Slash is going to take out, wow, that was technically, what, 3 stages up? I'm surprised that Night Slash didn't take out the Articuno. He's going to throw another Icy Wind, which is going to take back down the attack to a 2-stage buff, but the Scizor is still buffed, and it's still going to be able to farm down his Articuno, and so he lost lead, and he's still down his shields. But that could have been a lot worse if his opponent was running Bullet Punch, like I was mentioning, and if he even tried to maybe bait the Iron Head and then go for the Night Slashes. But either way, his opponent really lucked out on those boosts, because that was wild getting them back to back. I wish I had that kind of luck. Either way, Snorlax was able to lick it down. It did tank a Night Slash pretty well, and his opponent's running the Blastoise. That's some spice. He's running into some spicy teams. Scizor, Blastoise. Blastoise is a good pick for Ultra League. It maxes out right around that 2400 mark, so it's pretty tanky. Its issue is it's running Water Gun as a quick move. It doesn't have access to something nice like Mud Shot like Swampert does, but it does still have access to Hydro Cannon, but I do think it deserves a better quick move. It'd probably have more play in Ultra League if it did. Either way, he decided to tank, what, 2 or 1 Hydro Cannons. He's going for the Superpower here, which means he's probably not going to get to another charge move, because the Water Guns will take him down. As much as it's not the best quick move, it does do a decent chunk of damage. And his opponent didn't shield. He swapped out. Alright, good play. Instead of letting his Snorlax get farmed down. His opponent's going to go for a charge move here. This is definitely another Hydro Cannon. It will be resisted by the Gyarados, but again, Gyarados is a little glassy, so that's still a bit much considering everything. And his opponent now brought in a Clefable to charm down the Gyarados. So this match unfortunately didn't go too well for him. That lead situation could not have gone worse, honestly. 2 attack buffs from your opponent really wasn't asking for a successful matchup in this situation. But it's okay. That happens. He lost lead pretty hard. The Pokemon in the back countered him pretty hard. So you can only win so many matches. Either way, he's still off to a 2-1 start to this set. Alright, getting into this 4th match, he's going up with an Articuno onto an Scizor Lead. Please kind of excuse the beginning of this battle. I'm not really sure what happened with the screen recording. It gets a little choppy in the beginning, but the rest of the match still plays out okay, so I'm going to leave it in because, again, having as many battles to showcase with the team is important, and I'm assuming Articuno on a Scizor is on a positive thing, because you can kind of tell as this continues to lag a little bit. He does bring in his Gyarados. This will be figuring itself out pretty soon. Gyarados gets hit with an Acid Spray, which we can see there by that nice little freeze frame. It's actually a pretty funny picture of the Gyarados kind of like stuck like that and a little purple splash on it. But he's going for a Crunch here, and it lands on a Lapras, so apparently a Lapras was swapped in. But I do know the rest of this match does play out cleanly. I don't understand how that happened with the recording there. Really odd. Either way, Lapras is going for a charge move here. He has to debate if he wants to use the shields. I would, just because he has a Crunch already charged up. He's using the shields. He's going to go for the Crunch. That Crunch probably will be shielded. He got a little risky there, over farming that Crunch a bit. But this Crunch will most likely go shielded because Lapras is going to be able to commit to the Ice Shard down of the Gyarados. It is shielded. Lapras is commit to the Ice Shard down, and now he needs to decide what he wants to bring back in. I would bring in the Snorlax. He's bringing in the Snorlax. Snorlax is going to get hit by another Surf here. Actually, it farmed a bit. This could be an Ice Beam. This could be an Ice Beam. It ends up being an Ice Beam. It's still a little laggy. But he's going to commit to the Lick Down of this Lapras and gets to another charge move, which is unfortunate. This one's definitely a Surf, but again, that Lapras farmed up a lot on the Gyarados. So let's see how he's able to come back from this one, because he still has to worry about the Escavalier in the back, and he doesn't exactly have any good counters for the Escavalier, and we still don't know what his 3rd Pokemon is. So we're going to have to see if he's able to figure out a way out of this. I don't know if it's too possible, but we'll find out very shortly. So the Superpower lands, he swaps out, he brings in Articuno. Honestly, I don't think Articuno has the worst matchup against the Scizor. as much as he swapped out immediately, because again, the counters are neutral, and then the other two charge moves are, well, this one's clearly running Acid Spray, and the other move is probably Mega Horn, which should be resisted because of Articuno's flying typing. So if I was him, I would not shield this. This is most likely an Acid Spray. He's not shielding. It is an Acid Spray. He can still commit to the farm down. Unfortunately, that timer's not, oh, his opponent swapped out, and it's a Giratina. That might just be the Pokemon he needed to be the third mon in the back to pull out this comeback. He's going to go for an Icy Wind. This will most likely get shielded. If not, that's a good thing for him because the Snorlax, again, is running Body Slam and Superpower. He gets the debuff. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to take his Articuno out before it gets taken down. I would not... Oh, he's shielding it. I mean, I guess even with the lower defense, it did look like he was going to be able to get to the Icy Wind. It's a tough call. I'd be a little nervous to call it. So let's find out if he's able to still get to the Icy Wind. He even over-farms a bit. Oh, it looks like an over-tap. Interesting, but I could have swore over-tap was fixed by the time this video is recorded. It kind of looked like an over-tap. He does get the Icy Wind off with about 1 HP. The Giratina's attack is double debuffed, which is a good thing, even though Snorlax is pretty close to being dead. He's going to have to commit to a lick down and hope he can throw a charge move at the Escavalier. This match is still not looking too likely because his opponent goes for the swap, but he was able to lick down. But now all the debuffs are cleared on the Giratina. I don't think this Body Slam is going to do enough. So now it's going to come down to a race of whether Lick or Dragon Breath takes out the opposing Pokemon, and it looks like Lick will get the job done and win him this match. Wow, that was a stressful one. That was a pretty good match, so I'm happy it turned itself around, even though, for whatever reason, the beginning of that recording was choppy, but it was a great match either way. Alright, getting into this fifth and final match in the set, he's got an Articuno on a Snorlax Lead here, which I think is a pretty positive lead for the Articuno. He can debuff the heck out of it, and I guess if he shields the first Body Slam, he should be able to commit to winning it because the licks take a while to charge up the Body Slams. But his opponent's going for the first charge move here. It's definitely Body Slam considering how quick he got to it. He decided to shield, so he wants to commit to make sure he can win lead here. And he's now going for the Icy Wind to land on his opponent's Snorlax. This most likely won't get a shield just because of how much damage Icy Wind does and how tanky Snorlax is, but it will lower the Snorlax's attack, and his opponent decides to swap out and bring in a Poliwrath. Interesting. And Jembebo decides to keep his Articuno in here, and we might see something we saw earlier in this set when another fighter came in against his Articuno and he left his Articuno in. So, because he's not swapping, he's going for the Hurricane, so this is a big play right here. Jembebo used a shield already, so his opponent might want to match shields. Let's find out. He gets the Hurricane through. That's crazy. Most people, I guess, Hurricane's like a legacy move. Articunos are known for their Icy Winds. I really don't blame people for not knowing any better and not shielding in those situations. You don't really expect a Hurricane coming out, but you gotta love running that legacy Hurricane and having that surprise factor in those cases. So the Snorlax comes back in. He is at a 2 shield to no shield disadvantage here, but he's throwing an Icy Wind here, which will get the Snorlax to like a quarter health, because apparently the Snorlax just does not want to shield any of the Articuno's charge moves. This Body Slam is now nerfed again, so it's not going to take out the Articuno. The Snorlax is not going to be able to commit to a lick down unless it wants to get hit by another Icy Wind. So let's see what his opponent's decision is here. His opponent hasn't thrown a Body Slam yet. He's going to go for another Icy Wind. This will maybe grab the first of the 2 shields if his opponent really wants to land the Body Slam. It doesn't. His opponent's bringing in Giratina Altered with 2 shields to face off against the remaining two-thirds of his team. This is GG for his opponent because he's got Gyarados or Dragon Breath, which is going to be super effective against Giratina Altered, and he has Snorlax in the back with Lick. That'll deal super effective damage to the Giratina Altered. So if I was Jembebo in this situation, honestly, I would just commit to the Dragon Breath down, because why even lose out on 1 or 2 quick moves by throwing the Crunch, because whenever you throw a charge move, you lose 1 of your quick moves. But then again, Dragon Breath is a 1-turn quick move, so you're really not losing out on much. But he decides to go for the Crunch. This will definitely get the shield, because his opponent knows it's going to be super effective damage that's coming at him from the Gyarados. and he's still hoping that he can pull off this win. But honestly, I don't see a scenario where his opponent can pull this one off, especially because his Giratina Altered's running Shadow Claw, which is literally not doing any damage to Snorlax because it's double resisted. So honestly, if I was Jambebo in this situation, knowing the 2 Pokemon I had left, I would have flexed on him a little bit. I mean, like, that's what you get for being a little stingy. I know, I feel like in most cases, you got a Giratina Altered with 2 shields, you might feel like you're going to win those situations, but got to use those shields. Again, it's kind of hard to know a Hurricane's coming at the Poliwrath, and I guess you really don't want to shield something as weak as Icy Wind on your Snorlax, but comes back to bite. He held on to those shields a little too long. He even threw a body slam at the Giratina Altered, and the Giratina Altered didn't even use a shield there. But his opponent might have just been like calling it GG at that point, because he just got laid down from the Snorlax, and he's able to finish his set 4-1. So I really like this team. I really like Articuno as a nice lead. Having Hurricane is actually pretty important just because of the fact it's legacy. It catches more people off guard than you'd expect, and then of course you got the spamminess and the debuffing ability of Icy Wind. So it does give Articuno some nice play in the lead position as we've seen through these matches. Also guys, I'm not saying we discovered anything super groundbreaking here with Articuno Lead. It's been a lead Pokemon the past couple seasons of Ultra League, but there were 2 reasons why I wanted to show you guys this set. One, the team comp, the 3 Pokemon he put together, I haven't really seen them together as one team, and it was definitely a very solid team. And 2, he was running Hurricane on that Articuno, and you saw it pay off for him in 2 matches here. So if you're running Articuno Lead and you still have Ancient Power, this might convince you to change Ancient Power to Hurricane with the Elite Charge TM. It might not, but here I am to show you the battles for you to make that decision on your own. It definitely helped him win 2 matches. It could help you win some matches. Articunos are mainly known for their Icy Wind spam, and people also like to think that you might not want to go and spend your Elite Charge TM on something like Articuno. So just throwing that out there for you guys. Also, shout out OxfordU. He just did a video on Articuno on his team, on his channel. I'll throw the link in the description. It was a great video. I highly recommend you go check that out for some more Articuno play if that's what you're looking for. And also, if you want me to shoutcast your battles, this is a great time with GBL down. I don't have any of my own battles to showcase. I do have some like practice stuff I've been doing. I might have done a little premiere practice that might be in a video. But if you want me to shoutcast your video, this is the time. Shoutcast your battles, this is the time. Hit me up on Twitter. Other than that, thank you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video.